Well, hey, and Ultronymous, no, you heard it. I did that on purpose. I'm glad you heard it because I'm trying to set up the music so I can like choose different songs at will. But good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Gamer Bluecast morning show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, third plus your video game enthusiast and industry analyst. And today, for July 7th, 2025, I'll run through the latest gaming news, what I've been playing, stuff like that. But hey, good to see you all in the chat. Ultronymous, Chris, JamKLX. I'm so happy to get this Monday started with some game talk. Yeah, to start off, hope everyone had a good 4th of July. Luckily, I had the 2 days off before the weekend. Strangely, though, I didn't play as many video games as I thought I would. So what did I do? I guess we might get into a little bit of that. And then, let's see, a big deal today because the Switch 2 should be coming in the mail, should be arriving today. I'm excited about that. We'll talk a little bit about the Switch, my history with the Switch. What we'll do right now is what I've been playing the past weekend, which I guess it was hard to say because not too much. I'm mainly playing It Takes Two with the wife. And it's very hard for me because I like that it's something for her to play. You know, I brought it up. I find it to be a very boring game, but I like that my wife is interested in the puzzles that it has. They're not puzzles I really care to solve, but I get it. Like, so I could see why this game's popular, but it's not for me. And it's crazy, 12 hours. Like, there's a lot more to be doing in this game too. Because she was like, "How far are we?" Because we thought we were at the last boss. We looked it up. No. Okay. So here's one I played for a lot longer than I thought. Because I don't know if you guys remember last week when we were looking at some of the game announcements. There was that Monster Boy. I think the character's name is Aisha or something. But anyway, there was going to get a release of that on some modern consoles. And it just reminded me, I haven't been playing through these games. I like these games. I don't know how many of them are necessarily remakes, but I know the standard line, there's, trying to bring back the old Monster Boy and then Wonder Boy, I think was another line. Anyway, I played about 49 minutes and I had fun. It's an old school kind of fun. It reminds me of a type of side scroller I'd play back in the day, and I never stuck with them just because there was a lot to it, but it's where it's a side scroller with levels and you sometimes come back, but not all the time, and in this, it even has a Metroidvania style map to it. But I don't think they're complete Metroidvanias. But anyway, fun game. If you guys see this cheap, I think what also helps is how good the graphics look, the art style. It's really good. Okay, cool. Okay, I did bring that up. Okay, another thing, Gunmetal. This was on sale on Steam and I bought it and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I bought this on GOG. But they both look different. I didn't really do much investigation into this. It could just be a matter of on GOG, it's DOSBox, and no, it wouldn't be DOSBox. On GOG, it's maybe another emulation layer or a PC version or an Xbox version, right? Because this was on Xbox too. Anyway, I got to do research into that a little bit. So Outwars, I was showing that game to you guys before, and I was playing a little more, and I got further, and it got really hard. But then I realized it's because there's a lot more controls that I need. I think you guys saw when I was looking at the options, there was like the banking roll or whatever. I don't have any of those. Like the controls in this game, it's like you could choose mouse, joystick, or keyboard, but even on each one, it's really weird because it's an old game. So what I'm going to try to do, and I meant to do it this weekend, is kind of look online see if anyone has a downloadable file that's related to the controls, so I can just upload that. I mean, I don't mind modifying. But I guess it would just take that much time. That's why I didn't even do it this weekend. But okay, and then something else I played that's not on here that I want to talk about is, and actually, let me just bring up the Gundam Explained YouTube. I wonder if, Republic Commando. I wonder if Yeah, here we go. So, if you guys heard, Call of Duty Mobile got their Gundam game, the Gundam thing, and on the screen here, and I know it's hard to see actually the way I have this set up, but it's actually, let me do something real quick because I don't like the way this looks. Reset, move down. So basically, and then I'll do on the bottom left here, there's just a button that just says Gundam match. Yeah, and I just pressed it and then it opens up, which is pretty cool because you see an animation, you see some Gundams fighting. I think on the surface it's pretty cool. And so this is the main screen, and then you jump in to do the death match. And to be honest, it's pretty neat for a bunch of different reasons, but it's what do I say? It's not like it does anything revolutionary. What I would say is the graphics are very compelling, and the controls. In this, I was using a Bluetooth Xbox controller hooked up to my phone, and my phone screen mirrored to the computer. But I would recommend just using the touch controls. I've been playing it with the touch control. It's made for touch controls. It makes more sense. You're faster with touch controls. But it is just kind of neat because it's almost like what Gundam Evolution was trying to do, except this does it more. It feels more Gundam-y. One, it's not first person. You get to see your mobile suit. I don't know. But not that this was compelling enough for me to. Okay, I'm gonna fast forward here because there's other things you could do. There's this little mini game here that I don't understand, where you have these little Gundams and you. Okay, like you could shoot, but nothing comes out. That's like this odd thing. I don't know how much of it is a bug. Anyway, this isn't bad. This is a fun little thing to have. I'm actually impressed by how Call of Duty Mobile plays. Now, if I'm going to play a Call of Duty game, I'm going to play my PC on the console. But I will say that they nailed touch controls. It's like, it doesn't feel like I need a controller to play Call of Duty. And so it's the same thing with this. So I see this in the same vein as SD Internal, where I feel like I could just load this up, play a little bit of Gundam on my phone, and then, a few minutes here or there. Might be worth checking out. Autonomous, or to have their real moves. Thought they'd just be real fancy skins. Yeah, so that is the exact same thing I thought. I thought it was going to be just some fancy skins, but it's a completely different game mode, and there's even story. Here's the Sazabi talking to the new Gundam. It's not Amuro, it's the Sazabi. Or it's, Char. It's funny how it's new Gundam or Sazabi, not Amuro. Char. Anyway. And then there's a battle pass. And again, you're not paying for any of this stuff, but the stuff you unlock in the battle pass, actually, not only you can use in the Gundam game mode, but you can use in the Call of Duty mobile app. So I got to say that is pretty neat. Seeing graphics like this of Gundam is really cool because we haven't got anything like this in a modern game. Anyway, it's really crazy to think. Yeah, they like how much they put into this, but it's still not like a core game. But then the core games we get from them don't look like this. So I don't know. I'm hoping, but I also want to be sensitive to the fact that the industry is in a huge change right now with gaming in general. And so I know companies are going to do little things to help them out. If I feel like this is a good idea for Bandai, if this helps them out. I don't know how it helps them out though, because if you don't have to pay for this, I'm assuming the idea is then they're just promoting. But the way they're doing it, this stuff looks great. So, COD fans don't care about the pilots, only the MS. Char's counterattack is Sazabi's counterattack. But you know what? That's a good point, because I would feel like if people are playing the Call of Duty on console, remember where they came out with the skins? And that's neat. I bought it because I like Gundam. But for people that, if you really want to capture the Gundam or to capture someone's imagination with the Gundam, you got to put them in that. And I think this does it. Fortnite mode did not do that. So, okay. So next, what I want to talk about is back in January 13th of 2017, was the last Blue Gamer article I ever wrote, because pretty much then on, I just made it where, even though I was already making video content, well, here's a couple things. I want to say 2017 was the time that I sold, between 2017 2018, like sold all my video game stuff, because I realized, wait, I can just play a lot of this stuff digitally. And it's very interesting how, when we look at how much I'm into gaming, but I don't share a lot of the common thoughts of most, like, hardcore gamers. Like, as much as I like to have physical copies of things, if I don't need to have it physically, then that's fine. Or if I need to, I will, like the Godzilla on PS4, you know. But oh, Adam lore, I love that. I love that I have lore. So anyway, it's just kind of interesting to think during this time, the last article I wrote, which I look back at my writing and sometimes I feel like I was better sometimes at portraying an idea in my writing than I do in video, but that's not a big deal right now. So my last paragraph for Nintendo announced the Switch was, "For now, the Switch isn't as compelling as I thought, and this is mainly due to the software, especially since I can get Zelda on the Wii U. But how successful will Nintendo be with the mainstream? Does it attract tablet users, kids, parents, and or PS4, Xbox One gamers? We still have a lot to learn from the Virtual Console library. Are games backwards compatible? Will we be buying them again? Discount." So since then, this is what I've learned. This Switch really wasn't as compelling as I thought. As cool as I think it is to have that portable console that I can play games, I didn't play it a lot compared to everything else. And that point at the beginning, especially since I can get Zelda on the Wii U, I had bought and beat Breath of the Wild on the Wii U. So that was one less reason I'd want to switch. So when I got the Switch, I actually got Breath of the Wild again and played through it again. And, I think the kids played the Switch more now. What I want to do now is show the Switch. This is the original Switch. I'll take off the and I don't think these are the original Joy-Cons, though. I'm pretty sure those have broken up many times. And I even didn't use this a lot. Like when we first got the Switch, and you can see like the kickstand's missing. There's some scratches on the back here. This was like the kids' main thing. And I guess I personally, as a fan of, and let me grab it real quick. As a fan of Zelda, I went and bought the Zelda edition, Tears of the Kingdom Switch, and then I bought these controllers because I want better grips. I've talked about them, which they work on the Switch too. So I can't wait when I get the Switch 2, I can pop these on. But I will say, even with having this, I don't play the Switch 1 that much. I never really did. I played a little bit of Smash Brothers, but I was never really into Smash Brothers. I think the main game was Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8, Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Yoshi's. So I will say, like Yoshi's Epic Yarn, whatever they called it. The Kirby games, like those main Nintendo games I play, but that's it. Now, I did get the TMNT Splinters Shredder, the roguelike turtle game. I got it on here because I played it on Apple Arcade. I liked it. They released it on here first, and I got it because I thought it'd be good as portable. Okay, so let's then think about the Switch 2, because when that was released to pre-order, I waited in line at Best Buy, but it was a virtual line, and I think it was like 30 minutes, and I was like, I've been in here for 30 minutes. I'm not going to wait much longer. So I just stopped, and I was like, you know what? If we see the Switch 2 around, I'll get it. Because here's the thing. I thought about with the Switch 1, how as much as I didn't play it. Kids nowadays, they don't care about this stuff. Okay, so that's another thing I wanted to talk about. So when I said, does it attract tablet users, kids, parents, etc.? What I think, sure, maybe kids like it, but it's not like kids are asking for a Switch as much as I think people that grew up with Nintendo that now have disposable income, that is the mainstream system. We were thinking, oh, PlayStation is the mainstream. And I think to a degree it is, but I think Nintendo's even more that mainstream. It's almost like for people that don't play games, if they just have a default gaming device in their home, it might be a Switch. That's why it has so many sales. Because there would be some discussion around what they're trying to do with Switch 2, and even in the investor call, Microsoft just had, like, their 85th investor call, a week ago, maybe? And they were talking about what Nintendo was trying to do to market to the younger audience, since the younger audiences aren't buying games like they used to, and I thought that was very interesting. I don't know what that means. Does it just mean that, that market is still there, it just shifts older? Or does that mean that is a older shifting market that'll eventually market itself out? I don't know. I don't know. But let's see, what's the other part? The backwards compatibility, Virtual Console. So it didn't do Virtual Console this time. It did the thing where you need a subscription to play these smaller released backwards compatible, or um, Super Nintendo games, Genesis games. So it was like Virtual Console, except it's hidden behind a subscription and they can remove the games. So I gotta say, I feel like in general, the Switch as a console is pretty much a disappointment. But if you're thinking about solely playing very specific games, then it's not, because Mario Wonder, all those, Nintendo games. So if you think about it, just, hey, I want to keep up with the modern Nintendo games, they've got it. And I even pulled the dock from behind the TV, and it has dust on it. And this, has the Switch been in? It's only been 2 homes that we've been in since the Switch has been out. So, but anyway, today is the day. Today is the day that the Switch 2 will be here. And I'm excited to. So here's the other, when Tears of the Kingdom was announced, when Tears of the Kingdom first came out, and I saw, like, I played it actually, and the way it runs, it's like, I'm not gonna play this. And I always told myself I'll wait when the Switch 2 comes out, because there'll be that inevitable upgrade, and it happened. And it's funny because it's the same thing I felt with the first Switch. It's like, I can already play Zelda on the Wii U. The difference is there wasn't as big of a graphical leap that I felt like as going from Switch to Switch 2. So for Tears of the Kingdom, can't wait to see to play that on Switch 2. And let's see, let's go to chat real quick. My Switch remains a glorified paperweight. Funny, Ultramus, I didn't even think you had one. I'm always thinking PS4 and then your laptop. But yeah, I have a Switch too. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, it's like one of those things where sometimes you don't play it a lot. I found myself the opposite. It's a great RPG machine, and I took it a lot of places. Okay, so that is a very good use case, actually, especially with the RPGs that would come on. Yeah, all the times that I would be following the news, there'd be these new Octopath Traveler, Triangle Strategy, whatever you call it. Like, Switch got the RPG, so that's a good example. And I don't play those that much. For me, the Switch is too expensive to bring around and risk losing. No way I can afford to replace it if that happens. Oh yeah, that'd be scary. I've tried to get the Switch version for a good number of multi-platform titles. Oh, okay, yeah, just so you would have it portable. Gen Z is essentially free to play. Yeah, that's correct. And it's interesting too, in a world where it's easier for parents to allocate allowance to children, and they are not buying video games, even if they have the choice. It's like the free to. It's like there's so many different things you can do nowadays. I guess a lot of times too, if you're just by yourself and want to play a game, but kids nowadays can easily get into contact with their friends, jump into a game, or just do something else. Let's see. Oh, the MMX Legacy Collection on one. Oh, that is cool. I got it for Smash Ultimate, and after that, not many exclusives to make me want to use it over PS4. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm a fan of. It's funny, like Jim Kalex was saying with the RPGs. I'm a fan of the Nintendo stuff, like the Kirby's, the Yoshis, and all that. And actually, that's another one. I got the Kirby Forgotten Kingdom, Forgotten Lands, whatever it's called, and I never beat it, but apparently it's getting an update in August on the Switch too. So that's pretty cool. Okay. I think we've. Sorry, just got really thirsty. But I think we've pretty much, covered some of the interesting stuff going on with the Switch. I kind of like, my last little article here. And I just went, if you guys are ever interested, if you go to adamblue.com, you go to Blue Gamer at the top, there's my YouTube channel, but then there's the archive, the Blue Gamer archive. So when you click on that, it just goes to an old WordPress site that goes back, I mean, I want to say 2006, 2007. And there's even articles I've written before them, but have been lost on the internet. But I tell you, I have a whole lot of stuff. Oh, here's something funny, real quick, just to show sometimes the age of some cables and stuff. And I don't know if this was an animal, a mouse, but there's or just storing these cables incorrectly, but you can see where they've been chewed through. I mean, it was in use. That's very dangerous, so I probably won't be using this again. Yeah, very funny. Autonomous. Oh, Star Fox Zero. That is, we know Dread ended. Yeah. So, oh man, you bring up some very good points. Huge Star Fox fan. That Star Fox game came out. F-Zero, I didn't play. I know they released it on the Virtual Console, but that Star Fox, was it called Zero? The that was on the Wii U actually. And they need to port that. They need to port it. They need to redo it. All that. Yeah, Dread. Okay. Okay, let's jump into some news. Actually, Let me change this. Okay. Saber Interactive's new co-op PvE Toxic Commando gameplay screenshots leaked. Okay, so the name Toxic Commando sounds fun. Is that supposed to be like an open world map? And then, okay, we got a lot going on here. So it looks like you got the loadout and you're leveling up for this game. Okay, this game's called Toxic Commando. I haven't really seen any proper screenshots. Here's one. Looks cool. I mean, look, AK-47. There's some things. I don't know didn't mean to do that. Who knows how this is going to play, but Saber Interactive, but I would say they're reputable in terms of giving their games a chance. Now, I don't know how much this is going to be like the Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood, which those games would get kind of boring to me pretty quick. So, but I just love the way the graphics look on this. That's very interesting. What's some more information? According to the leak, Saber Interactive's upcoming title is somewhat similar to titles like Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood, so I literally called it, I guess. But the game will have two key differences. The leak reveals that the first major change is that missions are now tied to specific areas rather than simply moving from point A to point B. Okay. And the second significant change concerns vehicle movement around the maps, is pointing out that vehicles in the game play a huge role, with them having fuel gauges that will run out unless the players find fuel. Vehicles can also be equipped with turrets for defense and different upgrades, including a louder horn to attract more zombies. This sounds really cool. Let me see. John did they leave that out? Or maybe I skipped because I'm bad at reading. This is a John Carpenter joint. How cool is that? Oh, is it Epic? That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. It's not going to be on Steam. It looks like it's going to be on Epic. But this could be cool. I mean, sometimes those zombie shooters can get boring, but I'll give it a shot. Okay. Oh, Toxic Avenger. Yeah, which is getting a game. Toxic Crusaders, they call it that, based on the cartoon. That's getting a beat 'em up coming out soon, and the Toxic Avenger movie is coming out soon. Actually, yeah, Toxic Avenger vs Toxic Commander. That's the natural evolution of this. Okay, so this is interesting. Mind's Eye will be relaunched as CEO blames saboteurs. So that last part, too bad you have to start pointing fingers, but I do like the relaunch. I'm all down for any video game developer or company that wants to sort of, look at what mistakes they've made and see if they can just salvage what they have. So, okay. In some ways, Mind's Eye was touted as, let's see. Benzies finally addressed staff following the release of Mind's Eye in a brief video call yesterday, July 2nd. According to two people present who asked not to be named in order to protect their careers, Benzies insisted Barb would bounce back and relaunch Mind's Eye. Oh, build a Rocket Boy. Blaming the studio and the game struggles on internal and external saboteurs, among other things. And so here's the thing. I don't know if any of this is true or not about the paying to talk bad, whatever. But I mean, as long as they're doing something about the game, and it sounds like that's what they're going to do. Let's see. But that's not much more information than that. So I'm going to keep an eye out on Mind's Eye. I know I keep saying that. I do want to grab it, and I am interested in seeing. I mean, I want to play it actually as it is right now. But okay, so here's something. Fans think Nintendo accidentally revealed Switch Online's next wave of N64 games. Let's see. Donkey Kong 64, Smash 64. Let's see. Okay, we already know about Super Mario Strikers. Let's see. Oh, okay. Oh, and then F-Zero GX, Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2. Oh, that's pretty cool. So there's some GameCube games that I totally forgot about. Okay, not much to that. Not much to that article. Okay. Despite no new Mega Man in 7 years, Capcom says it's one of our most important IPs. Yeah, I think so. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do. Capcom has reiterated its reverence for the Mega Man franchise and said it's continuing to consider ways to revive the classic game series. Mega Man hasn't seen a new release since 2018's Mega Man 11, and there was an 8-year gap between that and the previous entry, 2010's Mega Man 10. For the second year in a row, during the question and answer portion of its ordinary general shareholders meeting, Capcom's management, okay, the address messed up, team was asked for an update on the status of the Mega Man IP. The response reiterated that the company values the series and will continue to consider how it can release new entries. And they're saying it's one of their most important IPs. I mean, I think it's cool. Capcom's working with Jada Toys, and they have that line of action figures that comes out, so that helps with the visibility. But they really do need something. If not, another side scroller, I think it's worth trying their shot at a third-person shooter, just where it feels and it has that floaty jumpness, or maybe something new of Mega Man. I think Capcom does a great job with that, of games in general, making games, and I really think that is something that they could totally pull off. And you know what? I think that just about does it. Yeah, for this Monday edition of the Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. Glad you guys were able to tune in. And I think, the next thing is that Switch 2 should be arriving today. I might have some impressions tomorrow for that. So that would be fun. But until next time, I'll see y'all later.